Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com, and it's time for your Impact post show. It is September 1st, 2022. One hell of a show to run down, and we're going to get to it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get your super chats and your humper chats and the chats and the things in the chats. But holy crap, before we even get there, Cresta, I got to tell you, there's like a billion things going on this weekend, and this channel already has a billion things going on this past week. Even on Select, they did Ask Grapsody today, and then even before that, Will Washington was doing Day After Dynamite on the channel, and then tomorrow, Grapsody is going to be live at a special Friday show, and they got an interview with Swerve Strickland, and then they got the post SmackDown and Rampage show like they do every single Friday night, and then if you want even more content. They're doing Clash at the Castle and All Out predictions. That's Sean Ross Sapp and Ella J. They're going to be doing that. That drops at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Saturday's Clash at the Castle. Excited for that show. The post show, Sean and Denise, I assume, are going to be there doing the not at the show, but doing the post show. And then Sunday, you got the Worlds Collide post show. That's going to be Kate and Alex. And then I might pop in for a little bit. And then the All Out post show, because AEW's got a show if you didn't already know. All Out is this Sunday. Julie Cutler and Sean Ross Sapp are going to be doing that, and then like a plethora of other things, because there's other stuff that goes on, and like 15 channels that Fightful has. We'll talk about Select. Yes, it's a lot, and we'll talk about Select because there's some Impact related news that came out this week, and we'll get into that. Cresta Starr, my favorite person to host a show with. I'm sorry, Tim. How are you doing?
I am doing great. No lies were told. There's a lot of wrestling. There's a lot of wrestling this weekend. There was a lot of wrestling this week, a lot of wrestling announcements. How we're all going to keep up with it, I don't know. But you, the viewer at home, can keep up with it by subscribing to Fightful Select. Select. What is a Select? But Select, you can get all of your news that if you can't carry it, if you got your news like this, we'll keep it concise just for you. How are you doing?
Fightful Select sounds like a select fillet. And if you want a good fillet, subscribe to Fightful Select. Maybe I'll drop a recipe.
Chicken tender of wrestling.
Right. People like chicken tenders. It's the new Wingstop sandwich. The Wingstop chicken sandwich. I don't know.
They have a chicken sandwich?
Apparently, I was listening to Ask Grapsody earlier, and they were talking about it for like a good 20 minutes. That and like Power Rangers. I'm not going to spoil it, but these three guys will literally talk about everything else other than wrestling, and I appreciate that. So there you go. Subscribe to Fightful Select if you haven't already. We're on the march to 10,000. Kind of nuts. Speaking of nuts, Impact Wrestling tonight went off. It was a good show, I thought. Cresta, what did you think overall of Impact?
Tonight, the commentators is what really put it over for me. And I'm not going to hold you. Up until the last match, my Honor No More, you already know how I feel about that. So I was already upset he's spaghetti. So it was a good show, but biasly speaking, I ain't like it.
Really?
I was sports entertained, but like this.
You were like just taking it. You were just like, fine, just shovel the food on my plate, and I guess I'll eat it.
It's like when your boss says, we're going to grandma's, and that's what's happening. So this is me the whole time. Like, I know I'm gonna get candy, but I don't want to go.
So we talk about Honor No More every single week on the show, and we're not super duper impressed with the content of the promos. However, I gotta put it over. They turned the corner.
Did you lose me? Did I lose you?
I got you.
Okay, because from a moment we were like,
oh, the robot. Okay. No, the show itself, Honor No More, it felt like they turned a corner this week. And they actually, had the matches, but they also had something about them. They had a purpose finally. And it wasn't the stupid purpose. Now, it wasn't perfect. Edward Edwards continues to be like the most gratingly annoying human being on the planet. Maybe that's the gimmick. I don't know. But either way, Honor No More capturing gold almost twice in one night. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, folks, if you haven't yet, drop a thumbs up. How you doing? Chat, I see you. It's good to have you. And if you're listening in the podcast realm, go ahead and toss us a 5-star review. Get us all up in that algorithm, as they like to say. Now that I've said the word, we're like totally going to get buried. I know how this works. Did you watch BTI Cresta Starr?
I did. And I have some thoughts on BTI because tonight BTI was actually like, just a second.
Right? There was a really, really good tag match. Ace Austin and Chris Bay, Ace of Bays. I mean, listen, at this point, this is the second week in a row for Ace of Bays on BTI. They may have called it like Bay 4 the Impact. So Ace of Bays took on JD, Griffey, and Exodus. I didn't know what to expect from JD, Griffey, and Exodus, but they were really solid. And the match itself was a lot of fun. It's free on the Impact YouTube channel. Go check it out. It's usually towards the end of the show, but between that and George Iceman, I quite enjoyed BTI.
Yeah, no, BTI was really good tonight, and I cannot put over the commentary team enough tonight. Raywall and Hannafin, they put over Griffey and Exodus,
like Ben Griffey Jr.
Who I don't watch sports.
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
They put over Griffey and Exodus, and I was like, okay, first of all, Exodus had a really nice shirt. I see the Super Mario. I loved it. I popped. But when they actually had a competitive match, and even, I don't even like Ace Austin like that, but I was like, what is happening? It was a really good match. So I hope that we see more of Exodus and Griffey in the Impact Zone. It'd be nice to see more of them, because for introductory, even if it was a quote-unquote enhancement match, it was really good from both sides, and I would like to see more of both of them, actually. And I'm surprised to say that, because I feel like BTI is kind of cut and dry. This was actually like
there was stakes.
Okay.
There was something to this match. I mean, later on when we talk about the tag team division and who's coming in and what's going on, I think it kind of shows that Ace of Bays needed this win, because when we talk about who's next for them next week on Impact, it's kind of going to be like, all right, we set up the win so that they look big to take on Aussie Open, and we know what happens next. But that's not important. We're going to talk about this match itself. Again, really good stuff. I love the back rakes that the Bullet Club guys do, and it's a little throwback to ELP. It's good stuff. And then Griffey looks good with his strikes. They translate well. He's doing like an MMA gimmick, which I appreciate. So naturally, commentary is going to mention TNA Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock, which again, I like it. I won't say no.
And no shoes, like Mike Bailey, because they mentioned that too.
They did. And again, I listen, normally they'll talk around the match. This match was actually getting proper commentary, like you said, and you were putting this over a few minutes ago. They're actually talking about the match. They're actually talking about the importance of all four men, and not just Ace. It wasn't just Ace of Bays versus two jobbers. It was these guys got stuff in, looked good. Exodus, by the way, there's a sell on Ace Austin does a spin kick, and Exodus takes it to the face and just kind of like blank stare and slowly falls to the mat. It looks so good. And then the end of the match sees the assisted art of finesse followed by the fold. Ace Austin pins Exodus. So again, a really good match on BTI. It's well worth going out of your way to check in. I would do that.
I could not believe it. And I'm like, you know what? If the rumors are true, that the Good Brothers are leaving Impact, it would be nice to have a stand-in Bullet Club who is actually competitive, because I'm tired of seeing Chris Bay lose every week. So it was nice to see him win here.
So I was going to ask you, where do you think Bullet Club goes from here? Because we're going to talk about the OGK and the Good Brothers in a second. But if it's just going to be Ace of Bays hanging around, what do we do with Bullet Club, and where does Ace of Bays go from here?
I think you get some more tag matches under your belt. Maybe run it back with Honor No More at some point if the Good Brothers don't get an automatic rematch, and then have them run it back. I feel like, especially with the other debut tonight, there might be some new life being injected into Impact. So it'd be nice to see them, or have another Bullet Club, from Japan, or from, I'm trying to think where else Bullet Club is, because I feel like Bullet Club is everywhere. Everywhere.
Jeff Jarrett is a damn member of Bullet Club, okay? So it could be anywhere. Scott D'Amore, was he ever? I think Scott D'Amore was Bullet Club at one point too. Like, they did everyone as a member of Bullet Club.
Is the new NWO. Are you NWO? I may not be black and white, but I'm blue. I'm green.
I think at one point my mom became a member of the no, that's bad.
Your mom throwing up the too sweet. She go to school like, stop messing with my son.
That's right. Don't mess with my boy. But you can mess with us. You can donate a super chat here on youtube.com/Fightful. If you're looking in the chat box, it's that little $ underneath. Any amount not only supports Cresta and I and the site itself, but it also... Oh, yeah, sorry. Scott Demore joined with Jeff Jarrett to the book club. But it also gets your question or statement read on the air. Thanks, Greg, for completely throwing off my train of thought. I appreciate that because it's worth it. And our Humper Chats. If you want to go over to humperchats.com, Cresta, tell them what they do.
You go over to humperchats.com, you put in any donation amount, we will read your chat live on air. It's like a super chat, but on Humper Chats, and we keep a little bit more of the commission from there. So go ahead and show your support. Let us know. Let everyone know. Most importantly, let Sean Ross Sapp know that you like this show and you'll be coming back for more.
And if you're not a money person, I get it. We've all had dire straits. I'm never going to make fun or give anyone shit about not being able to financially support us. Again, you can leave a thumbs up, or you can also share this video with your friends on your timelines, wherever it is. I don't care if it's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I don't know. Cresta's all over TikTok. She knows. You can simulcast us on Twitch, see what happens. I don't know. Either way, let's get into Impact, the actual show. OGK capture the Impact Tag Team Championships from the Good Brothers. Bye-bye, Good Brothers. I mean, we've been talking about it for months, Cresta. The writing was on the wall. The match was really good, though. You have to admit, it was a really, really just a solid performance from both teams, and OGK winning makes perfect sense moving forward with Honor No More.
The match was good.
Yeah, there it is.
Listen, I won't lie. I start off with the nice things. I'm the good guy. I'm good guy commentator Cresta. The match itself was good. I like the match. I will never fault the match. The outcome, I knew it was coming. But at the beginning of the show, I'm going to grandma's. I don't like it. I know I'm going to get candy at the end, but I'm going to grandma's and I don't like it.
I'm currently watching Josh Alexander versus Masha Slamovich at AAW in Chicago. It's very entertaining. But let's get back to Good Brothers and OGK. I get what you're saying. I understand. We've spent so many weeks talking about Honor No More just being rudderless, and it doesn't do like they had to figure themselves out and make sense of their existence. Why are they here? What are they doing? What's their purpose? And like we said last week, if OGK are going to win the tag titles, then they have to reset what they are in Honor No More and maybe even distance themselves a little bit. Maybe make Honor No More the group that they kind of come back to once in a while. But overall, they're just kind of, friends with them because Maria is Mike Bennett's wife. Yeah. So they're all kind of together. What are your thoughts?
So if I'm being all jokes and memes aside, the match itself was really good. And just double checking my notes. I'm actually surprised that Carl Anderson got beat up so much as he did.
That's every Good Brothers match. Doc Gallows does not take the pin. It's always Carl Anderson.
The teamwork between Taven and Bennett was really, really good as well. I'm actually surprised with the little bit of, let me not say a little bit. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. I'm actually surprised it was a clean match, to be honest. Yeah, Maria was banned from ringside, but what that mean about anybody else? It was a good, clean match. It was a straight win. And honestly, even though Taven hit old boy Carl Anderson with the rope and the yam bag, I am going to give them a new shot. That's what I am going to do. I'm going to put the rudderlessness behind me. I'm going to say, you know what? Maybe they're just a heel faction. Maybe because I don't get it doesn't mean that I'm right. So I'm going to go into it with rose-colored glasses. I'm going to put on my sports entertainment pants. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give him a fair shot.
Going back to the Yambag spot, there's a magic killer broken up by a super kick from Bennett. Bennett then crotches Anderson when he's on the top rope. That's what you're talking about. Sets up Carl Anderson to take the proton pack. Taven pins Anderson. I like it because Bennett was the illegal man. He took out the legal man, and then the legal competitors had a spot in the finish. New tag team champions. We're going to go backstage. Honor No More celebrating all together. There's more Eddie Edwards and PCO face-to-face garbage. And then Vincent's like, some people don't understand PCO, man. and then he walks off. And then all you hear, by the way, while they're talking is the audience. And I'm sitting there like, so this was strike 2, to be honest, of tonight's show for me, production wise.
Oh, that audio, I didn't hear anything Vincent said when he was talking to him. I'm like, yikes, what's happening tonight?
Yeah, it was not very well cut. You couldn't hear, and I'm wearing headphones when I watch, so I'm picking up everything, but there was way too much noise from whatever was going on in the ring. That happens again later when Gia Miller is interviewing Josh Alexander, but it's a little better. And then again, when they do the backstage with Mickie James and Jordynne Grace.
Yeah.
But either way, after Vincent walks out, Kenny King hypes up his match against Speedball Mike Bailey. That's coming up next. And Maria, I like this. Maria Kanellis says, I couldn't be out there with Kenny King. Or sorry, I couldn't be out there with the OGK, but I can go out there with Kenny King because Scott D'Amore took away that tag team title victory from me. I like that. That's a more family-oriented Honor No More system. I appreciate that.
I will say that even though I'm leaving my hating Honor No More ways behind me, Maria Kanellis has always been a bright spot. She is such a troublemaker, and that is such a smart thing as like a villain, your bad character. Like, I couldn't cheat then, but I'm definitely going to cheat now. I mean, assist Kenny King to the ring to ensure the victory of Honor No More, which is really smart. So I'm like, now if we're going to shift into maybe a more serious Honor No More, ramp it up, which I was fully ready to wear all black tonight. Like, we're going to a funeral if Kenny King won, which technically
we'll get there. We'll get there. That was a good we're going to get to that in a sec. Killer Kelly first. So let's just talk about that promo. She's like, she's watching you. And she's a people person who likes watching people. And then she's like, Tasha talks, but doesn't listen to what others say. And then Killer Kelly's like, I know what makes Tasha tick. I know what inspires her, what scares her, what hurts, and let's play. So it's going to be Killer Kelly and Tasha Steelz eventually. I would do it at Victory Road. What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking that. So I'm like, I wouldn't do it at Slammiversary because not to say both of these women aren't worth it, but Slammiversary is already stacked. And that's not even the one.
Bound for Glory. Sorry, Bound for Glory. That's the one.
Bound for Glory is already stacked. You know what I mean? So Victory Road, it needs more stuff because there's so many things going on at Bound for Glory. So I like that. I like that idea. But also, like, I'm still struggling to connect with who Killer Kelly is. I get it. But also at the same time, like, maybe I need a free sample. Maybe I need another sample.
How about a sample from Philly 76 who sends a super chat saying, I think Honor No More turned the corner for sure tonight. OGK are the tag champs. Kenny King looking strong against Speedball. Seems like they're ready to commit to them now. And I agree. I said this week after week. We've talked about it, Cresta, that it felt like ever since Tony Khan acquired Ring of Honor, the whole Honor No More stable became rudderless and just completely without any reason to be around. And now that they're finally figuring out like what is Honor No More, there's going to be the infighting, but now they're just like rebels against the system. But then that's also got to stop. I don't like that either. That's an Edward Edwards thing, and I just don't love it. We'll talk about it in the build to the Josh Alexander and Eddie Edwards stuff from tonight too.
My only concern, and this is just a me thing, and I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I feel like this is all leading to an Honor No More holding multiple titles. I've kind of seen that storyline. This will be the third time in a different promotion that I've seen this storyline. And what it's going on now, it kind of is running stale. And I would hate for that to happen to this group who finally get their comeuppance, who finally does that. And then it runs stale again. Like literally year 1, year 2, this would be year 3. I'm seeing the same storyline. So I just err on the side of caution. So I'll give it a shot. I'm here for it. I love wrestling. So what's up? But I just don't want it to be like what we seen it the first time. It was cool. The second time it's like, and I don't want to be a third time like, oh my God, please not this again.
Nothing's original in professional wrestling. Let's just face it. Cards on the table. Nothing is original. Everyone rips each other off. Damn it.
How dare you break my illusion? Next thing you'll tell me is that wrestling is scripted, and I don't like that.
I mean, listen, if it's scripted, then they couldn't have scripted this X Division title match any better. Speedball Mike Bailey took on Kenny King. We started talking about it. I like the commentaries playing off the how many defenses until the wheels come off game for Speedball. They've been talking about that for weeks, and I like that they're going to keep bringing it up because eventually the wheels are going to fall off for Speedball, or they're not, and he's going to look more and more and more dominant. They're building Speedball's loss and his eventual dropping of the X Division Championship as something major, and I'm a big fan of that. And last week we talked about the match that Speedball had being a little paint by numbers, him and Chris Bay. Wasn't a big fan of it. At least I wasn't the biggest fan of it. It felt very much like a Speedball's Classics. This time I loved so much of this. Kenny King having scouted Mike Bailey's movesets, getting out of the way for certain things, getting a lot of good offense that looked very different. And of course, we'll talk about that dusty finish. Just a really good match. Talk to me. What did you like? What stood out to you?
So tonight was Honor No More's night, regardless of how I feel about it, whatever it is. And I do think individually they're amazing wrestlers. Kenny King, like you said, had everything Speedball was about to do scouted. Also, they were outside of the ring for more than 10 seconds, but I'll let it slide for the sake of storytelling. But even outside, when Kenny King gave Speedball the exploder to the ramp, I was like, not the ramp, the ring side. I was like,
oh my God.
Even when Speedball was lighting up Kenny King with the kicks, I was like, this match is not a normal Speedball match. And I feel like where Kenny King excels in bringing up the pace, trying to make Speedball match him, was where Speedball faltered. And I did like that commentary. It's like, well, how long? How long before he can't do it anymore? And I'm looking at both matches last week and this week. Maybe last week was a paint by numbers because he was getting into his groove, getting into his set. And this time, for the first time in a few defenses, I want to say kind of since Trey Miguel, not saying that anything else wasn't good, but kind of since Trey Miguel, he was like, oh, okay, stop that. Don't do that. So it'll be interesting to see who he loses to, but it's going to be a good match.
By the way, your boy has an interview with Trey Miguel that'll drop soon here on Fightful, so keep that under your belt. So you're talking about all the stuff that Kenny King really did light a fire under Speedball's ass. I agree. Speedball at one point goes for that around the world kick going from side to side, and Kenny King pulls the referee in and then King accidentally hits the referee with a spin kick. And I'm like, shit, they're going to do one of those accidentally. That's right. Who knows? And then you get the visual pin because Kenny King low blows Bailey with as he goes for the ultimate weapon. The replacement referee counts to 2.9, and then they do this dusty finish. They didn't do they did a really good finish. I'll just leave it at that. They had Kenny King hit a leverage pin, not only grab the ropes, but then have Maria Kanellis grab Kenny King's arms for the 3. And of course, Honor No More come out. They're celebrating. It's second title that they won tonight. And then the original ref walks into the ring and he's like, no. I saw what happened. Overturn this. Start the match. I love this. Yeah. I absolutely love that the original referee was there to see it. He had recovered. He could tell the other referee, nope, that's bullshit. We're going to start again. And Honor No More is barred from ringside. Bailey does the around the world kick. King reverses the ultimate weapon, which doesn't happen very often. And then Bailey reverses the King checker, hits that same pin that Kenny King just used with leverage, and he retains the title with it. That was masterful, and that I love.
Poetry.
Very
Wrestling
simple.
Poetry.
Yeah, very simple, very easy, but it was really good storytelling, and I have to put that over as something so good. I appreciated that.
And it does leave room for, because even before Maria helped him cheat, I'll give credit where credit is due. Kenny got a visual pin. Wow, I can't speak today. Kenny got a visual pin on Speedball. So there's always going to be that argument. Okay, we cheated. You right. But I hit him in his yam bag. Don't pay attention to that. But I pinned him 1, 2, 3. I think he was even up to 4. So he had the pin. He has a claim for either not Victory Road. Yeah, it is Victory Road.
Yeah, Victory Road's in September.
I'm getting all of my Impact shows confused together. But yes, they have a match for maybe Victory Road and then Bound for Glory if they want to do I was next. Mascara, Dorada tonight. Like I was next. No, I was next. So you've got matches upon matches. But I do think eventually Kenny King, if not Kenny King, because that'll make a lot of people feel if Kenny King takes it off. I'm one of those people who will also feel if Kenny King takes it off Speedball, but it would make sense. In the Honor No More larger ethos and rehabilitating that whole group,
Kenny King will be a guy, absolutely. And we talked about that on the show for the last few weeks. You know, where does Honor No More go with their group individually or as tag teams? OGK takes tag titles. Eddie Edwards was the top guy, so he would go for the top title. Kenny King is a former X Division champion, so why not have him come in and challenge for the X Division championship? It makes perfect sense. You know, Vincent and PCO are the odd men out, and I think we're going to see that story play out further in the coming weeks on Impact, and I'm fine with that. Again, if they're odd men out, PCO should be the guy who suddenly becomes the baby face, or at least leaves Honor No More and does his own thing on his own path. And I'm a fan of doing that.
Which is kind of crazy because PCO, every time, like we've been speaking about this, every time he has a chance to prove himself, he proves himself until you put him on the spot. He is an undead zombie. His circuit's short. He can't do it on the spot. But every time it comes to get it done, he gets it done when other people have failed. So it's like Eddie Edwards, maybe you think that if there is a coup, that the only person who could quote unquote beat you is PCO. That's what I'm thinking in my wrestling, put on my tin hat. So it's like, we'll see. But I wouldn't be too mad if those two were out of the group or the reason why the group goes down the toilet.
Fine by me. Let's move on. Scott D'Amore and Brian Myers are backstage, and Brian Myers is upset that Bhupinder Gujar stole the Digital Media Championship from him. Scott goes on and says, I can't comprehend how the most professional wrestler has to go to him to get the belt back that belongs to him. Basically, Scott D'Amore like Jedi mind tricks Brian Myers into getting his belt back, which is like the most Vince McMahon story that's ever been out there, because we've heard for years that someone would go into Vince's office, complain about something, be like so hot, so over it, ready to quit, and then he'll leave and be like, I love that man. He's so good. And that's exactly what we were playing off of here. Gujar then decks Myers as he turns around, lays the Digital Media Championship on his chest. I will not spoil how this ends in terms of the tapings, but I'm very excited knowing where it goes. Tell me, did you like the segment? Did it do anything for you?
I want Gujar to win, but I feel a Matt Cardona running in and spoiling my fun. I feel it. But if I don't, either way, I do like these two together in a program because Brian Myers is such a clown. He is like he's like, I'm the most professional. And then he's like always dodging this one guy. Anyone else? Oh, I'll fight you. I can beat you. But Gujar, I don't know. He got that dog in him. I don't want to fight him.
I would love Brian Myers. So you got Matt Cardona, who's always ready. I want Brian Myers to become always dodging and just be the guy who's always trying to get away from everyone.
I would like to prepare. I don't like when you spring these things on me. Wow. I'm a professional. If you were a professional,
you would know to do better. I want to see. So Matt Cardona made his return to the NWA pay-per-view this past weekend. So his return to Impact is imminent. Okay. Cardona's wrestling this weekend on the Wrestling Showcase event that's happening, I think, on IWTV during All Out Weekend. Josh Alexander's on that card too. So is everyone's on. I think there's a knockouts champion. Oh no, Ty is putting up her MLW featherweight championship against Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo. So if Taya Valkyrie drops that MLW featherweight championship,
you've been saying she's going boom.
She is heading back to WWE. Let's go to the bar with Jessica, Rosemary, and the aforementioned Taya Valkyrie. Jessica's sick and she's good to go. She's ready to get those knockout tag team titles back. And then Rosemary's like, whoa, slow your roll. I don't think you're ready. I think you're going to get in the way. And then Taya Valkyrie's like, well, I got a match against Chelsea Green next week. And she's just wrestling like the same three people for like the next 4. I love it. Anyway, and then Jessica's like, I'll be at ringside and I'll be a test. And Rosemary's like, yes, a test. As a very sarcastic, very good. No funny business. They drink, and for some reason, Rosemary's lapping it up like a cat.
Rosemary is a treasure and an icon and a legend.
God bless that. God bless Rosemary.
I thought that Jessica also is a treasure. All three of them together. This is turning out way better than I could have ever expected. Literally, Rosemary playing the straight man in this trio, hilarious, because she's so over it, and she's like, I'm gonna give peace a chance. And when she really gives peace a chance, I know they're gonna turn up.
Again, it's so circus clowny BS, but it's so funny. And
It's so good.
because Jessica is like a legitimately good wrestler, it works and it looks good. Like everyone involved, just the comedy aspect is good, and they got a really good deal with Jessica. So Impact announced on Friday last week that they've signed her to a new contract, which is wonderful. Very happy to hear that. And as a result, it looks like Jessica or Havoc or Jessica Havoc, whatever it's going to be, she's going to be sticking around, and I'm fine with that. I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I always liked Jessica and Rosemary, or Havoc and Rosemary together. I think they complement each other so beautifully. But adding Taya Valkyrie, who Rosemary has her own beef with her, but these three together is really honestly fantastic. And I cannot wait to see where it goes, for better or for worse.
Absolutely. Let's move forward. Aussie Open is backstage with Gia Miller. They lose a match, they show up on Impact. That's how it works. They're like, we're here for world domination, and the tag titles are our new quest. It's going to be Ace of Base versus Aussie Open next week. I'll give you 2 hints as to what happens next, or at least what that match is going to end up being. Moose, meanwhile, is in the background yelling as Aussie Open is finishing their promo. And then the camera appears around the side again, and it's Moose and Macklin yelling and saying that a Victory Road is their final chance to get Sammy out of their way, and then they part ways. And then Gia's like, hey, what the hell is this? And Moose is just none of it. I don't hate Moose and Macklin's conversations happening in the shadows, and they're not overplaying them to the crowd. They've done this 2 weeks in a row, but this week it was more just like it moves it along without having to sit through a 20-minute promo or anything like that.
I actually did not like this. I didn't like it last time when they did it, when I don't even remember who they were cutting the promo first before they panned to Moose and Macklin.
Because you weren't supposed to. It was Raj Singh and Mahabali Shera.
Yeah, like even then it's like, for all of this, like, just why even have Aussie Open, just I'd rather y'all just be like, we're getting ready to set up, and then you hear them fight, because I don't know. I don't in particularly care for it. It's not my favorite. I get where it puts it over. I just feel like it could be introduced a different way. That's just me. However, Moose yelling at Macklin like a grumpy old dad, and Macklin's like, I don't care. It sounds like, Moose, you hire Macklin, and Macklin's like, you paid me to do a thing, and either we're going to do the thing or I'm going to choke you. Like, we're going to choke each other, and then Sammy's going to kill us both. So I like it in general, just not the way they introduce it. But I think it's funny. I can't wait for that death match. Not really, because it's gonna be me watching it.
So it's funny that you do the finger in the eyes, just like, oh my god, I can't watch. So Steven Jensen, who hosts the Weekender podcast, used to be like super squeamish when it came to deathmatch wrestling. Now he's like bloodthirsty. Let's get at it every time. So like, there's hope for you yet, Cresta. I promise.
There was a time when I would, like, when I was younger, watch Stone Cold just bleed out his head, like, tap, no, don't tap. Now I'm like,
so your age got you squeamish. I get it.
Yeah, I'm old. I'm an old lady. I listen, I stubbed my toe. I'm down for a week.
I get it. You get a tummy ache and you're like, I'm over it. But anyway, let's move on. VBD, Violent by Design. Okay, so earlier this week, news came out that Big Joe Doring is stepping aside from Impact Wrestling. For those who don't know about Joe Doring's story, it's kind of wild. So he was really a big star in Japan, working All Japan Pro Wrestling in the late 90s and the early 2000s. And Joe discovered that he had brain cancer, had surgery, had tumors removed, and then was declared at least in remission for a long time. There's a photo that Joe posted of like the staples in his head from the surgery that he had. So Impact posted this week that unfortunately the cancer seems to have returned. Joe's going to step aside, and he had surgery. If not yesterday, then he's having it today. We wish Joe Doring the absolute best.
Yeah, speedy recovery, bro.
I've told the story here on this post show. At Greektown Wrestling in Toronto a couple of months ago, Big Joe and I had a 5-minute stand-up interview. I'm going to post it eventually. But Joe was he was such a sweet guy to me. He didn't have to give me any time. He so rarely does interviews, but he gave me time for me to ask him really silly and stupid questions. But I'm a big fan of Big Joe Doring, and I was a big fan of this particular segment because Eric Young, they didn't kick Joe out. They gave him so much respect and gave him so much dignity by saying, you'll walk your own path and our paths will cross again.
Yeah.
And then they fist bump and Joe just says, it, and he walks off. Perfect way to write off Joe and make it look good. And then Eric Young says, as for me, I have my own path. Deaner's like, are you leaving me? Eric Young says, that's your choice to make. You can follow me or you can go on your own. So now the story has revolved to, where will Deaner sit? Where does Deaner go from here? Because Eric Young is a made man.
Yeah. It's, I was upset initially because I'm like, I like Violet by design. My initial thing was like, why y'all break it up? There's a perfectly good honor no more over there you could break up. Then I was remembering, oh yeah, they did say you have to step away because he's sick and whatever it is, he needed surgery. So that's fine. Like you said, Eric Young is a made man. But we have been discussing how Cody Deaner has been putting on really good match after really good match after really good match.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the time Cody Deaner steps out and becomes his own man. Maybe Cody Deaner takes it off a Speedball.
I wouldn't hate it. Honestly,
I wouldn't hate it either.
We watched them have an excellent X Division Championship match weeks ago on the show. And we spoke highly of it because, again, Deaner knows really, really good wrestling storytelling and he knows the moves. Like, the moves are the moves. But Deaner absolutely could be a guy to take that title off of Speedball. I'm not there yet because we got to build Deaner first. We got to make it so much that he's undeniable. And they got to repackage him in certain ways, which, again, given it sucks that Violent by Design has to be repackaged because of the circumstances.
Yeah.
But this is the best possible thing to happen for both Eric Young and Deaner.
True. And in case, like you said, they left it so open-ended and respectful for Joe Doring that in the event that they do want to, that he does come back, because that's something serious to recover from. If he's able and well enough and he does want to come back, there is an open-ended story that they could do VBD, one more run, one more time, So, I mean, I'm upset because I liked VBD. I'm happy that it did end this way. Like you said, everyone has their own choice, and there was no one getting kicked out like real WWE style, like, oh, screw you, Edge, or whatever it is. So I'm super excited about that. But I'm really excited for Deaner. I really want to see where Deaner goes.
If Joe is able to make it back, I feel like the first thing they're going to do is put either the tag titles on him or, depending on who the world champion is and how much he can go, they can put the title on Big Joe. That's just my feeling.
Because he's undefeated. He's still undefeated. Wait, no, he's still undefeated.
No, because Josh Alexander beat him.
Oh, it was the DQ first. So yeah, okay, you're right. Yes.
When I'm right, I'm right. But it's fine. I'm right when y'all send in super chats too. So go ahead and do that over and do the humperchats.com thing. All right. Mickie James comes out. This was another really good promo. A lot of storytelling tonight on Impact. Mickie James comes out and she's like, it's been 24 years since Mickie James stepped foot in a ring, coming this November. And then the crowd starts chanting 24 more, which I didn't think was a chant that people could do, but apparently good on you, Dallas. And then she talks about, she went through some things that fans know about, some things that we don't know about. She kind of mentions her WWE release, talking about the trash bag thing, and talks about her sister being on her deathbed. And then she says that the fans empowered her to say, F you, you're Mickie James. So I was a big fan of that. And then she goes over her Impact accolades and then her decline. She basically tells the story of like her rise and fall and rise again. And then she's like, I broke up with wrestling. I did some soul searching at home. And then she's like, I'm going to prove myself again. She wants to make women true equals, give them the best opportunities available, and she wants to work her way back up. So she's not retiring. She wants to earn her next Knockouts title match. And she says, with tears in my eyes and grit in my teeth, basically a Ric Flair promo. If she loses, that's it. This is the last rodeo.
I will say, I was expecting her. Now, let me even go back further. When I first started watching wrestling back in 2018 in modern times, Mickie James was, I think, finishing up with WWE, and she wasn't really respected. Seeing her run in Impact and seeing and knowing everything that she's done, I fully expected her to come out there. First of all, those shoes, that outfit, Mickie James, I need those shoes. DM me, sis. She looked phenomenal. That whole outfit was immaculate. But I really thought she was going to retire. I'm like, don't retire. Even before when they said she was coming, I was like, oh, you about to interfere tonight. But when she started her speech, like, wow, you're really about to retire. I really like that she said, I told myself I'm going to give it one last run because I don't want to be a shell of myself. So if I lose, the moment I lose and I start, I'm done. But I think she got one more good run in her, and I cannot wait because I feel like Mickie James is going to give us one hell of a run. Like on some Danielson and AEW, I want to kick young women's heads and run, and I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait.
So in professional wrestling, the traditional way that most people go out is on your back, right? You're looking up at the lights. That's it. Your final match. You put someone over and you go on down the road. I feel like Mickie is one of those traditional wrestlers and she will do that.
Yeah.
And M.A. Solko says with the super chat, is Masha Slamovich the right choice to retire Mickie James? It feels like it should be someone she has a history with. And I don't hate that idea. Does she need it?
Masha, I mean, honestly, after tonight, Masha is a problem. And I don't think Masha necessarily needs it. Because if Masha keeps on keeping on, we're going to be seeing a lot more of Masha. And yes, please, because that last match, to quote, I think, Matthew Raybo, he said, this has gone on 46 times longer than her normal matches.
Yes. Well, when we get to that main event, it was nuts. And Mickie James did a really good job of making the fans feel.
Yes.
And I don't think that Masha is the person who's going to retire her.
Yes.
But I do like that Mickie is going to take on a lot of women that a lot of Impact fans may not have seen on her way to a match against, let's say it's still Jordynne Grace, because later on, Jordynne Grace does sit down with Mickie James. She's like, I'm glad to see you back. I'd offer you a Knockouts title shot now, but I know you want to earn it. And then Grace says, I'll be on the other side when Mickie James is ready. So it sounds like it's going to happen, but it's going to be after Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
Or this is a big red herring and Masha Slamovich is going to beat the shit out of Jordynne Grace. Sorry, spoilers, when we get to that main event.
That's how I feel about it too. That's how I feel about it. I feel like Masha Slamovich is going to eat Jordynne Grace, and I don't say that about anyone. I love Jordynne Grace. No, I love Jordynne Grace.
Yeah. So let's move on. With Mickie, again, I'm so looking forward to the matches she's having because she's going to have another match with Tasha Steelz, 100%. She's going to have another match. I'm guessing with Masha, maybe with Killer Kelly, with Deonna, with Chelsea again. I would do that. I want to see her get one over on Chelsea again, and I think maybe that's a match for Victory Road that I would maybe like to see.
I could see Chelsea Green and Mickie at Victory Road, screwy finish, something really good at Slammiversary.
Yeah. It's Bound for Glory.
Oh, when did we start saying Slammiversary? I love you, Impact Wrestling. You're fantastic. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna bring you the Impact calendar. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna put it right up on my wall, and I want an audio book by Scott D'Amore saying these are the pay-per-views. Get it together, Cresta.
Josh Alexander is getting it together with Gia Miller in the back, and he puts over Mickie James because, of course, he does. I like that they at least got right back into that. And then they mentioned the match. It's Josh Alexander and Edward Edwards at Bound for Glory. He's like, this is the first time we've had a one-on-one match. Eddie Edwards is a multi-time champion. He's the heart and soul of Impact Wrestling at one point. and he was the face of the company, yada, yada, yada. All the things that Josh is now is what Edward Edwards used to be.
Yeah.
So I didn't hate that. And then they talk about, basically they're just putting over the match. And then Edward Edwards walks in, says, I'm not here to fight. And then Gio walks off. Edwards talks about how loyal Alexander is to Impact, calls him a chump. Sure, why not? And then he says Impact is letting Heath run wild, and then Heath cut Josh off before he can give an answer about joining Honor No More last week, and then Heath does it again.
I mean, to Heath's defense, before Josh Alexander, you and Honor No More started beefing, they were messing him up every week.
Yes.
Him and Rhino, they put Rhino, his best friend, who literally just came back, in the hospital again. Like, he's mad. I understand. And I will say, since the Alex Shelley, the promo before the Alex Shelley match, Josh Alexander, to quote my granddad, is sniffing his own balls.
Wow.
That's the only way I know how to put it. Because when he was like, Shelly, you need to make sure that you're together. We've got it. So it's like, okay, Alexander, no one takes you as a joke. Like, you are literally the walking weapon. Nobody takes you as a joke. And then again here tonight when he was like, yeah, but you did cut me off. I'm like, please don't fall for Edward Edwards. Please. That's like the worst Jedi mind trick guy. Please don't fall for whatever Edwards is saying. Please.
So it's worth noting, Tommy Dreamer, this was probably the first time he's been back on screen ever since he was
saw
pulled.
that too, yeah.
Lance Storm was also there. Lance Storm is a lot taller than I remember him, but he's there. Tommy Dreamer's there. Scott D'Amore walks in and says, Heath, I love you taking out Honor No More. I get it. And like Cresta, you were just saying, Rhino got taken out as his tag team partner, yada, yada. He deserves to do it. And then Scott's like, I can't have you fighting Edwards at all turns. So instead, Heath, you, and Eddie Edwards are going to have a match next week. Edward Edwards versus Heath. Heath goes to Josh Alexander and is like, I want to apologize for my actions. And then Josh is like, well, you did cut me off before I could say my piece last week. To me, it doesn't feel like it's like Josh turning or really considering the story of Edward Edwards. It's more just like Josh being like, I'm the champ and you disrespected me and you should respect me because I'm the heart and soul of this place. So I'm fine with Josh and Heath doing a match. It works for me. How did you feel about the second half of this promo?
Heath is going to get jumped. I mean, while I don't think that Heath is in the wrong, it's a numbers game. You know what I mean? It's absolutely a numbers game. And I get what you're saying about Josh Alexander having to be strong, but to me, his confidence has always been, I'm the heart and soul, whether you like it or you disagree, because when I'm in that match, I put on every time. He always puts over Impact. So like him saying like, well, you did disrespect me. I'm like, not to say nothing against Heath, not to say that Heath has been either like, well, you gonna beef with Heath, who Honor No More was beating up before you. Come on now. Don't let the trees make you think you're in Central Park and you're not in the forest, like you're not king of the mountain. So I'm not against it. I would like to see a match because I do think those two would be interesting in the ring, but I don't want him to let that cloud his judgment. And please, for the love of God, don't join Honor No More, even though they're about to be winning. But if don't.
If you want to be winning, go ahead and donate a super chat here at youtube.com/Fightful. Alex Zane took on Mascara Dorada. If Mascara Dorada looked familiar, it's because it's the former Grand Metalik from WWE. They say on commentary that the winner of this match will be next in line to face Speedball. They didn't specify when. And then I'd like Tom Hannafin making reference to a regular house party. Because
I thought that was so cute.
If you know, you know. I think it was really cute. And because Hannafin worked with these guys in WWE, it was a nice little throwback line for them to use. Dorada does his normal, walking the ropes, doing the springboards off of them. It looked really good. Match was just a lot of fun, a lot of flippiness. Alex Zane, of course, doing his kip up into a Frankensteiner and then does the Baja Blast, which always looks good. And then Zane misses the cinnamon twist. Dorada turns it into a tornado DDT, hits the Dorada driver, formerly the Metalik driver, but the Dorada driver sounds like a better name. Gets the 3. Speedball versus Dorada sounds good to me. How did you feel about the match? And how are you feeling about Speedball versus Mascara Dorada down the road?
So the match itself was really good. I don't think I've ever seen Zane wrestle, but I like his look. this mustache would that always takes me out. So if you can rock it, that's always going to be great. And also the gear on both of these guys looked amazing. It was a little hard at sometimes, maybe because I got like bad eyes or whatever it is, but it was really good. I think Dorada versus Speedball. Very similar styles, but it's an exhibition match. I expect to be sports entertained. I expect. But what if it's not Speedball? Don't make me put my tin hat back on.
Who could it be?
Kenny King.
Stop it.
Kendall Kenneth King.
Oh man. No, that's not what I think. Speedball versus Dorada. That's just, I'm fine with it. Do it a victory road. That's fine. And then whoever's next gets you could do Dorada. That's the thing. I'm trying to be like, you can't, they're not going to do Dorada at Bound for Glory. You could do it at Victory Road and it'll be a fun match that everyone enjoys. Or you can have Kenny King be like, I deserve another chance and I wanted it Bound for Glory. And then they do Dorada versus King because it's battle of people getting a shot. And then Dorada gets the winner. But I feel like Dorada's just coming in for a quick shot. Like that's the Impact way, right? They'll bring in a new wrestler as like a guest star for the next set of tapings or the next week. Aussie Open, this set of tapings, they're the special guests.
But it made the commentary made it sound like they were introducing him, like he's gonna stick here around. I'm thinking that this eventually leads to a 3-way because Kenny King is like, he's not gonna skip the line. I don't care who it is, and maybe the 3-way is at
Victory Road.
No, Bound for Glory.
Oh, at Bound for Glory. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Victory Road, you do maybe Dorada or you do Kenny King versus Dorada and screwy finish, however that finish. And it's like, no, I pinned him. I pinned him twice in one match. So I think a 3-way either at Victory Road or Bound for Glory, but I think a 3-way is where it's headed. I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
They'll do Ultimate X. Watch.
You know what? I wouldn't be opposed to that one either. An Ultimate X match for that?
There was a time when every other match at every pay-per-view was an Ultimate X match. Like not literally, but like all of the X Division matches suddenly became always Ultimate X matches, and it just drove me nuts. And when Impact was overdoing it, I just, come on, man, not every match is an Ultimate X match.
I mean, the Ultimate X matches be good, but I can see if you see it every Thursday, Scott. Every Thursday, Scott.
They did a pay-per-view where every match was a cage match, and that absolutely killed the town. Let me tell you. Look up Lockdown. Ricardo the Wizard with a super chat saying the bots up in here aren't even smexy. This is BS. Well, unfortunately, they're not even bots. These are people who think that they're funny. Anyway, next week on
running up the engagement. LOL.
LOL. I'm into it. Yuya Uemura makes his debut in Impact. He is a New Japan Young Lion who's been having a lot of matches. Yuya had a match against Ren Narita at Ric Flair's last match. That was really fun. So you can go watch that. It's free on the internet if you can find it. Ace of Base takes on Aussie Open, Chelsea Green takes on Taya Valkyrie, and Edward Edwards takes on Heath in, I guess, a good tune-up match. I don't even know why I know why we're doing this, but I don't know. I maybe this is the continuation of the PCO saga. Edward Edwards versus Heath. What do you think?
But why would you have PCO out there if you already don't trust him, and then not with Vincent?
I assume all of Honor No More is out there, and they get involved because they all want their comeuppance on Heath after he took out every single member systematically.
True. But then it comes back to what I said at the beginning. Do we then put PCO on the spot, who clearly does not perform well under pressure? He is a zombie brought back to life. His brain under pressure. You got a plan. His synapses is slow. So why would you keep putting him in there to say, well, this is PCO? Like, you know he don't respond well under pressure. Stop it, Edward.
I like it. The inevitable Edward Edwards versus PCO match is going to be so silly, and I'm all for it. I want to see it like be just a gimmick match of some sorts. I don't know what, but it's got to be something just ridiculous.
And PCO has to win. That's the only answer.
The problem is, like, as much as we enjoy Impact, I feel like the match is going to be like the winner becomes the head of Honor No More, the leader of Honor No More, and then they're just telegraphing the finish. But PCO is the head of Honor No More. At least the promos would be a lot shorter.
Honestly, chaos. Do it, you cowards. PCO.
There would be a lot more yelling. A lot more yelling, I tell you that much.
It'd be Vincent. Vincent would really be the leader of Honor No More.
No.
I mean, what is PCO leading? Quickly,
Chaos?
answer.
Destruction. Vincent, the problem is Vincent right now is like Bray Wyatt before The Fiend. When Bray Wyatt was just talking in circles and just saying shit, man. I'm just this guy from Nolans, just with my draw, and I talk about things. That's Vincent right now, just a hippie who makes zero sense and wants to be a horror villain.
Yo, I had to really think back on when was the first time I saw Bray Wyatt before The Fiend, and he was actually the leader of Worlds with Matt Hardy. I didn't even see that.
Oh, there it is. And those promos didn't make sense either.
delete.
From my brain, I might. I will not delete this main event, though. Deonna Purrazzo and Masha Slamovich put on a really good match. Masha's longest Impact match since she joined the promotion. First of all, main event Masha. I'm all for it. Let's do more of that. Time for dorks who were ever just like, why aren't they using Masha Slamovich, to finally understand that this is why, because you got to build somebody, and they've done a great job building Masha as this absolute beastly killer of a woman. And it was really good stuff. And Deonna Purrazzo was the perfect foil for Masha. I think the chemistry between these two was really good. What do you think of the match? What was your general takeaways?
Main event Masha, I'm going to make a TNA joke, and I feel like I'm well within my right. Where is Kurt Angle and Scott Steiner? Main event Mafia is back. Overall, though, the match was really good. I think Purrazzo was the perfect technical slow down, Masha, to Masha's, I am full steam ahead. I'm going to plow through you through brute force. And I loved it. To me, I was like, if Masha wins this, Impact is definitely going all in. They've already been going all in, but like, not for nothing against Lish, Giselle Shaw. Okay. But,
Madison Rayne.
Yeah. I mean, Madison Rayne is good in her own right. She's been all of these girls, I think with the exception of Lish, have been knockout and Giselle Shaw.
Giselle, yeah. Tennille hasn't been either, but they've been some form of champion.
Yeah.
Tennille was a knockouts tag champion.
Oh yeah, she was with the Inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
with Madison Rayne.
So it's like she's really had like no one's really like, stop playing with me. Especially with Deonna, who held like every title. She was FTR in it. She was holding every title that you could imagine. And she was really submitting girls. So for her to really slow down the match, especially like when Masha tried to go in, I think the very first time for the snow pile, she caught her, turned it into an arm bar, and really that torque was nasty. I was like, yo, you're gonna pop her arm out. Like, it was good. They were really good together. And like, to actually see Deonna Purrazzo have trouble with someone who are, for all intents and purposes, you would think is quote unquote beneath her. That was a good match. I was sports entertained. And I can't wait. I cannot wait for Masha Slamovich versus Jordynne Grace. Because no matter who wins, I win. Sorry, I'm off my soapbox. How did you think about the match?
No, I think you put it over just perfectly. I mean, listen, there's the early moments where Deonna hits a Hurricane Rana, and then Masha's just like, oh, forget this, and just snapmares Deonna with the hair. And I'm just watching like, oh, God damn, that's painful. And then Purrazzo tries to take a powder. So Masha goes and pulls her back in. There's some really, really good stuff. And then, like you said earlier, they had Matt Raywalt mention that the match was 46 times longer than Masha's other matches. And this was before the match even finished. So who knows how much longer? I'm sure someone's going to do the math. Some really good stuff with the arm bars. And I love that at one point, Deonna has the armbar over. Masha breaks with the ropes and then chokes Deonna with the rope in her forearm. And I think that's good. Yeah, really smart stuff. The Queen's Gambit, nobody kicks out, but apparently Masha does, and then she hulks up like she hulks up like she's gonna be a maniac, if you know. But before that, Deonna goes for a Queen's Gambit. And Masha blocks it, picks her up, hits an airway crash into the bottom turnbuckle, and it looked nasty.
Looked like she dropped it right on her neck and heads. And every time I see someone take that, all I can hear is Enzo Amore. I'll drop you on that stack of dimes you got a neck.
Yes, and it was perfect because the whole match was like, when will Masha hit the snowplow? And every time that she tried, she either blocked or got out of it, or Chelsea got involved. There was something good there. So so Deonna takes advantage of a Chelsea involvement and then hits the Queen's Gambit on Masha. Masha kicks out. We talked about it, and then she gets the spinning back fist. Does Masha, hits her with the snowplow, gets the win. Masha Slamovich, I can't talk anymore. Masha Slamovich versus Jordynne Grace at Bound for Glory. After the match, Jordynne Grace comes out, presents Masha with an X'd out 8x10 glossy photo of Masha Slamovich. Masha smiles, they go face to face, we fade to black. I have a very important question, Cresta Starr. Who does Masha Slamovich face at Victory Road?
I think she faces Jordynne Grace and beats the brakes off of her. And I love Jordynne Grace, so please don't look at me in the face.
Well, no, because they're doing the match at Bound for Glory 2 weeks later. So why would you run it twice? Unless you're AEW. Why would you run it at 2 pay-per-views in a row? Or
bang, 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 bang. No. You make
so who does Masha get? I wouldn't do Chelsea Green because I think it's going to be Deonna and Vexed versus what's her face, Jessica, and maybe Taya or Rosemary, some configuration of those two for the Knockouts tag titles. Seems to be the story they're telling, is the road back to the Knockouts tag championships, and then Jessica's going to cost them the match or not win the match, whatever it is.
I was going to say Chelsea Green because I could have swore tonight for sure Mickie James was going to come down and interfere in this main event as comeuppance for the last time, but she didn't. So I was like, okay, fair. Mickie James ain't concerned, and when she sees Chelsea Green, she's going to strangle her. Fair. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. I feel like the end result is that Masha takes it off of Grace, but who Masha faces in between then?
Mia Yim?
No.
Mia Yim and Jordynne Grace are friends, and I see Philly in the chat mentioning they can do Masha and Jordynne versus Vexed in a Can They Coexist, which is what they did to Mia and Jordynne going into their last match. Jordynne Grace versus Mia Yim. So you could do it. You could do Mia Yim because she comes in, stands up for her friend. They have a match at Victory Road. Masha beats Mia Yim. Maybe this is Mia Yim's good night swan song. She wasn't signing for long unless she decides to stick around longer. And that would be that. Masha moves on to the this final boss, Jordynne Grace.
Well, I'm going to move in Tasha Steelz into the conversation because I'm not sure if Masha has already faced Steelz, which I don't think.
I don't think so either.
I feel like at this point, if she's beaten a champion, I think at this point, have her continuously beat champions. And I don't want to say, and I don't like Tasha Steelz taking a pin here, but to me, that would make sense because you beat Deonna Purrazzo, and no, Purrazzo didn't beat Steelz. No, Steelz didn't beat Purrazzo. I can't think, but I would think next in that thing, if you want to do like, because I feel like right now, Tasha Steelz, she's probably going to get beat up by Killer Kelly, have her lose to Masha, have her turn herself like, this is ridiculous. I used to be a champion. This is not it. Maybe. But I can't think of anyone else who would make sense because I feel like Masha Slamovich has beaten anyone else who hasn't been a champion yet.
Masha, Tasha, Masha.
Tasha and Masha, Masha, Tasha, Masha.
Uma, Oprah, Uma. Anyway, if you know that reference, congratulations. It's old, and so am I. Rounding us off, Philly 76 with the super chat. Thank you, saying that stare down to end the show between Masha and Jordynne has me legit hyped for that pay-per-view match. I wholeheartedly agree. I love they just stared at each other. No one threw a punch. No one did anything. It was just the right way to end this show. Unfortunately, we have about a month and a week to go until Bound for Glory and a special. So Victory Road. I'm fine with not every week is going to be Masha and Jordynne staring off. They're going to have to go their own ways, separate ways, just to come back knowing Masha's gonna have to go on a mean streak, like a really just killer streak, and who that includes, I don't know.
Masha versus Killer Kelly?
Not yet. I'm not there yet. We got to build up Killer Kelly. She's got to do more.
True.
But I'm not there yet. Killer Kelly and Masha is a special match, and I think you save that for you can do it as early as Hard to Kill if Masha wins the Knockouts title. Masha, now we're going back to the Masha versus Mickie James idea, where Masha Slamovich, new Knockouts champion, puts out Mickie James.
I don't like that.
No.
Like, I see what you're saying about putting over the younger wrestlers as you're on your way out, but I feel like Mickie could really elevate the hell out of somebody else if she got one more run on it, and someone up and coming, or maybe even Natasha Steelz in this situation, who I feel during her title run could have done just a little bit more to really solidify her, because I see people rumbling online that they didn't really care for her being champion. So I'm just thinking, like, imagine Tasha Steelz after Mickie goes on her mean streak and she's the one who puts it down.
I'm not there yet.
You will be, just like with me and Honor No More. It all comes full circle.
once upon a time, Jazz and Jordynne Grace were besties and wrestling as a tag team and against each other in Impact Wrestling. And Jazz was the elder stateswoman, and they were talking about, getting past, Jazz's work in the ring. She was maybe talking about retirement. Yeah. They didn't do a retirement angle with Jazz, but the entire time I sat there being like, Jazz and Jordynne Grace for her retirement would have been the perfect send-off for Jazz. I think they're going to do it with Jordynne Grace more than ever, Jordynne Grace and Mickie James. But if not them, then they got to find someone that has history with Mickie James who would send her off. And it can't be Gail Kim, because Gail Kim is already retired and it would just be too old hat. Mickie would probably want to go out with somebody who is new, younger, established on top to really put her over.
I could see it being Jordynne Grace, but not for the title. I could see it being on your way to maybe Masha, whoever the next champion is. My apologies. And right before, like, Mickie, you're on the hot streak. All you got to do is beat Jordynne Grace. And then Jordynne Grace beats you. I could see that. Because, it is a heartbreak. But at the same time, it's like, Mickie would be like, this is really the girl. You see how much I was doing. This is really the one to do it. And if in turn, in that run back, Grace loses to Masha, oof. But what good storytelling. Oof.
There's a lot to pick up, and hopefully everybody picked up what we put out tonight, because there was a lot of it, a lot of storytelling tonight. We didn't do our out of 5, so I ask you, Cresta, out of 5, what did you give tonight's show?
After talking to you, because I was going to give it a 2, because I was kind of bored. But after talking to you, I was like, you know what? He makes a lot of good sense. You forced me to look at wrestling not just from I'm going to grandma. So I was like, you know what? Use your big brain. Use your big wrestling brain. So I'm going to give it a 3.5. Maybe even not a 4, but a close to 3.9, close to 4. Because there were things in there I was like, this could have been a different segment. But the capstones for the meat wasn't bad, but the 2 buns, it was toasted with butter tonight.
Good stuff. I'm giving it a 4. I'm gonna plug Fightful Select real quick, and then I'm gonna rant for a second as we wrap up. Okay, first of all, Select $5 a month. Get all the news, the real news, because I got Sean Ross Sapp out here on Select having to debunk all the fake news that's out there. So watch yourselves. The fake stuff, the zero sources news. Don't listen to that shit. Go to FightfulSelect.com. It's $5 a month. If you can't afford it, it's understood. Support us how you can, but that is the best way to get the most accurate news that's out there right now. We talked about a little bit of Impact related stuff. Lady Frost asking for her release from Impact, having it not granted. A whole lot of information there. Go check that out. And of course, last night on the AW Post Show, the Bobby Fish not being renewed in his contract at AEW, that was broken, and it's also just spoken on more on Fightful Select. All the news, all the content, everything you want, it's over there. $5 a month. Get in there. Finally, why do I not give the show a 5 out of 5 this week? I talked about it on the social media, on Twitter, at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. I absolutely cannot stand when in video production, you do not white balance your cameras. It's a very easy thing to do if you're a multi-camera shoot, to have your camera. And I've done so. I spoke about this at Slammiversary, and then Impact fixed it. And this week they're back on their shit, and I hate it. So for those who aren't aware, in production, white balancing your camera means that your cameras, all of them, they all look the same. No matter what camera you're taking, camera 1 through camera 5, all the shots look the same regardless of where you are. So, and it's all balanced properly. They have 4 cameras at least, and all of them have different color tones, different color hues. Some are yellow, some are white, some are purple, some are orange. It doesn't matter. It just looks, it looks subpar, it looks bad. And I want Impact to succeed, and they got to fix rinky-dink shit like that. And the audio issues that they have, they got to fix that shit too. Just fix it. Easy as that. Emergence had a whole lot of issues as well with their production. Just get out there and fix it. It's an easy fix. Impact, you can do better. This was a step back for me, and I'm not looking forward to next week where it's probably going to look the same because it's all part of the same tapings. Anyway, anything to add?
You're not wrong.
Get out of here. There we go.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It was, for me, it was the audio. That audio was like, they never really have this problem, but I'm literally hearing the match in the background. Like, and I'm hearing it more than the people who I'm supposed to be watching.
That's the problem. When I can hear the match in the background, that's fine. That means that stuff's going on around me, and that's fine. That's immersive.
I'm immersed, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't want to hear, I don't want it to come at the expense of hearing the talent do what they're supposed to do in front of me.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't even hear what Vincent said, and he was right in front of Eddie Edwards. And it's like, I get it. You want to be like, oh, this is actually happening. But I agree with that. The white balance don't bother me as much, but then I got bad eyes. So
Fair. Cresta, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me, Cresta the Starr, at Cresta Starr on all forms of social media, except for Twitter, where you can see right down here at the bottom, Cresta the Starr. And if you go to my Twitter, right in the bio, I have a link tree that'll take you to all of my social media, whether it be Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. You will find me anywhere you can spell CRESTASTARR. Joel, where can the people find you?
Oh, I'm not hard to find. I'm at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. I ain't got anything else to add because we talked about what's going on this weekend. It's a ton of wrestling. Go watch it and enjoy it. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you in the next one. Tons of content. Go watch it.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.